Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Please hit that like button, please subscribe. Today's video is going to be all about music. I love music. I love it in so many different aspects of my life. And if you love music, tell me what kind of music you listen to. Put it in the comments below. And if you don't like music, put that down too, because I would find that very, very interesting. And I'd like your opinion on why you don't like music. So let's get started. I started a love for music back in the 80s in my childhood. I remember being in the car a lot, like picking my mom up for work or going to the park and things like that. And I remember my dad just listening to, a lot of 80s music. There's so much 80s music I love. 80s music is my favorite music. I'll tell you my first run-in with my favorite ever musical person would be Mariah Carey. And you're going to say, yes, because she's biracial. That a little bit has a little bit to do with it. But before I even knew she was biracial, I loved the song Someday. I remember playing in the alley behind our apartment complex with my best friend. And one of us had our radios out there, whatever. And I remember her just hitting those high notes on Someday, and I was in love. She was my favorite artist growing up as a kid, then growing up as a teenager, and I still love her today, but I like her old stuff the most. I just, oh gosh, her voice, goosebumps when I hear her voice. I used to love Belle Biv DeVoe. What's that song? Poison. Oh my gosh, I used to love that song. And there's so many like rock people I used to love. Oh my God, Madonna. I was in love with Madonna. Michael Jackson back in the day. Prince. Oh, I still love listening to Prince. Cyndi Lauper. My favorite all-time 80s, I would say song. I don't hear it very much. I don't play it very much on the radio. And you're going to think I'm weird, but I love 80s music. I listen to it all the time, especially in the car. There's a station for that. Would be We Are the World. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, We Are the World. My dad had a record. My dad used to have a big record collection. And I just remember that as a single or whatever. And it had all the people on it or whatever. And there's so many people on there on that song or whatever. I'm trying to think of all who was on there. Stevie Wonder. I used to love Stevie Wonder. I know he was on there too or whatever. I remember that song by heart because I love it. I wish I could play it now, but we can't do that kind of thing. Yeah, there's so much music in the 80s that I just loved, especially from movies. You know what I'm talking about. You see an 80s movie or whatever on, and they got that classic 80s music on there, and you're just like, oh my gosh, it just gives that, well, all you 80s people out there know what I'm talking about probably. I'm not big into 70s, probably because I didn't listen to it a lot. My parents, I don't think, listened to it a lot. So yeah, I just love 80s music. However, then 90s was my teenage years. And I'm going to tell you a short little story. I was a big nerd growing up, especially junior high, age 12, 13, and 14 were some rough years of my life. But I remember these two popular black girls in one of my classes. They were so nice and so pretty and everything. And I remember them coming in class, and they was like, hey, did you see Snoop Dogg on TV or whatever last night? And I was like, who's that? I was like, does he go to our school? Yes, enough said. I had no idea who Snoop Dogg was. I felt so stupid. They looked at each other, busted up laughing, and I felt so stupid. They didn't tell me why, but man, I'll never get over that. That is hilarious to me, though. I mean, looking back. So I went home and I looked it up, or I asked somebody. I don't remember, but I found out who he was. And I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, in the mail, you used to get this offer or whatever. You buy a CD and you get like 6 free, something like that. I forgot what the name of the company was, but I remember doing that, and I was like, I have got to get into music. I gotta, learn how all these artists or whatever, because I feel so stupid. So I remember getting Snoop Dogg a Doggy Style. Do you guys remember that CD? That was pretty risque. My dad found it and hid it from me like 3 times. I found it. I was not good at hiding things, but I loved that CD. You remember Gin and Juice and all those? Oh, just loved it. I remember getting R. Kelly. Yes, I know he is not a good person, but back then I used to love that 12 play CD. Boys to Men. Oh my gosh, the memories. Who else did I get? I used to love Mary J. Blige. I used to love Tupac. I used to love Alanis Morissette. You Ought to Know. I love that song. Jewel. Gosh, there's so much music. Mariah Carey, of course. Those were like, that just reminds me of my teenage years. Casey and JoJo all my life. Jagged Edge. I'm trying to think, there's so much. I used to love 90s music because it reminded me of my teenage years, and I had some fun in my teenage years, finally. And then after that, I did like some 2000s and yada, so on and so forth. I like Chris Brown. I love his music. I love Rihanna. She's probably like one of my favorites. She needs to come out with some more stuff right now. I used to love Brandy, Monica, Skilo, just a little bit talk, that song. I used to love Montel Jordan, came out with some one-hit wonders we're talking about here. I used to love, oh my gosh, there's so much. I'm trying to think. There's so many artists. There's so much music. I love working out. I love to listen to hip hop because it's, go, go, go. It's got the upbeat dance music I love to listen to working out, or some good rock I love listening to working out. I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm a huge nerd. Let's get this straight. I love listening to classical when I'm reading, especially like in a car. I'm waiting at the boys' school in the car line or whatever. I listen to classical music. It literally calms me. And if I put on regular music while I'm reading, I start singing the songs and I'm like, can't even concentrate on a book. So I put classical music on and it keeps me calm and relaxed, and I just read like it's nothing. Or like if I'm stressed out, I'll put classical music on, or if I'm in a bad mood or whatever. I like it. It's just calming and peaceful to me. I'm gonna be honest, in all of us are different, okay? All of us are different. But I'm not huge into country music, and honestly it's probably because I was never around it, and I grew up around mainly white, black, and white and black, basically, and biracial. Like, I grew up with all types of friends, and that's the truth. That's an honest to God truth. But I was never exposed really to country music. I just was not. So I can honestly say I'm not a fan of it, and it's only because I wasn't exposed to it, and it doesn't send any great chemicals to my brain, so it's not something like I enjoy. If you love country music, that's awesome. You might like country music and you don't like hip hop or R&B. R&B is my favorite, or 80s. You might not like that either. You might just like country, and there's nothing wrong with that. It all depends on who you grow up around or what you're exposed to. So yeah, like what you want to like. No, there's no rules for music or anything, and that's the cool thing about it. You can be whoever you are and listen to whatever type of music you like to listen to. So please tell me in the comments below, who are some of your favorite artists? I know I left a billion people out of that, but I can't think of everything off the top of my head, but I love music. So please tell me in the comments below who you like to listen to. Thank you for watching.